introduction, I saw it as a very positive step that the Labour Party pledged in its 2024 General Election Manifesto to establish an independent Armed Forces Commissioner to improve service life. And I declare an interest as a father of a soldier. Whilst my own son is enjoying his army career and gaining much from it, previous speeches in your Lordship's House and in the other place have cited record lows in morale and a crisis in recruitment and retention as driving this need for a strong, independent voice to represent the needs of service personnel and their families. So I see it as a very positive step forward that the bill will enable any personnel or their families to raise a general welfare, service welfare matter with the proposed Commissioner wherever in the world that matter may have taken place. Service personnel and their families, as has already been said in your Lordship's House, give much to this nation. Much of that is unseen and can impact on extended family members who often give unstinting support to loved ones during deployments and at other times. Personnel and their families never know what is round the corner or what might be expected of them, as we know all too well at present. One restriction of the present system with the Independent Service Complaints Ombudsman is that families of personnel are currently unable to submit a complaint. I am therefore pleased to see that His Majesty's Government are in the notes about the bill speaking of the new Commissioner being a new, direct and independent contact point for serving personnel and for their families, all outside the chain of command, to raise issues that are impacting them. The new Commissioner rightly needs to champion our armed forces, but also for the first time to be a champion for forces families. So I'm interested to discover and to see how the role of the Commissioner will be different from the Service Complaints Ombudsman as far as families are concerned, especially where there may well be a culture of not wishing to report or to raise concerns as it might impact negatively on a career, as has already been mentioned by the noble lady Baroness Goldie and the noble Lord Stirrup. What will be key is that the bill results in a culture change whereby reporting or raising concerns becomes recognised as a positive and constructive step essential to the continuous improvement of the service and the continuous improvement of the welfare and well-being of personnel. As the Royal British Legion has said, absolute clarity is required from the outset for this new role, so that the remit is fully understood by armed forces personnel and their families, and expectations are set at the correct level. I welcome that the noble Lord the Minister has already spoken about independence, and I very much align with the comments made by the noble lady Baroness Goldie about that independent role. But I would also be hopefully looking in the person specification for this new role for somebody who's got good experience, is well qualified in handling disputes and working around mediation. The Commissioner must be resourced sufficiently to be reactive and to be responsive, and the Commissioner also needs to work with compassion. It's from compassion that things will change on the ground. And that will involve the Commissioner working alongside a number of different others, both within the chain of command, but also welfare groups and chaplains. And if I can offer a brief comment on the invaluable work of forces chaplains who are embedded with their flock on deployment, but also often live alongside them, perhaps with their families on the naval base, on the army camp, or at the Air Force station. A week last Monday, I had the immense privilege of spending the third anniversary of the terrible invasion of Ukraine with the chaplain of the Irish Guards alongside Australian and Ukrainian chaplains for a service with a significant number of Ukrainians training in deepest Norfolk on a 5-week course to go back to Ukraine. It was one of the most poignant and moving services. Ukrainians and their allies together, remembering the immense sacrifices that there have already been. This is the bread and butter stuff of forces chaplains. They accompany an officer who has bad news for a family. They listen to a young recruit working out if this career is for them. They quietly let the commanding officer know that the person she's about to see has something going on in their private life. They sit consoling personnel who've just lost a comrade and need to go back on patrol. They anoint the injured and pray for the dead. They ensure families have someone to turn to when the clay beneath their feet begins to wobble. And on this Ash Wednesday, Christian chaplains will be marking the beginning of Lent. I would hope that the minister would agree with me that the work of chaplains of all faiths is a crucial investment in the well-being of His Majesty's forces and their families. How, though, does the minister expect the proposed commissioner to work with chaplains as part of their brief? And secondly, how does the minister expect the proposed commissioner to align their work with the Armed Forces Families Strategy 2022 to 2032? Finally, as Baroness Goldie said, the bill does not give an exact definition of family members, and so I ask the noble lord, the minister, quite what he thinks around that area, and whether, for example, bereaved siblings of service members might be appropriate to include. My lords, overall, though, I support and thank the noble lord, the minister, for bringing forward this bill.